I'm going to compare your swing to Grant Wade, who was a tour player during the 90s and considered by many as having one of the best swings in golf. He's now one of the top instructors of tour players. Always begin at the impact position because it's the most important. Everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is a direct response to the laws of physics and motion that exist at that moment of impact. It's the club's position at impact that determines those laws of physics. And it's the body's position at impact that determines the club's position. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. As you can see, Grant has the majority of his weight on his left side at impact. That blue line is crossing right through his belt buckle. The average pro will have 85% of their weight on their left side at impact. You have a little bit more weight on your left side, but not as much as Grant. You can see how Grant's hands are right on top of his left foot, and your hands are closer to your back foot. Your head is closer to your back foot than your left foot. The reason the pros want to have their weight on their left side is that it is critical that you hit the ground with precision with every swing, that you hit the same spot on the ground with every swing, and that spot needs to be in front of the golf ball. The low point of your swing needs to be in front of the golf ball at impact. In order to achieve that, that requires you to have your weight in front of the golf ball at impact. By having his hands in front of the golf ball, Grant is able to swing down into the golf ball and hit the ball before he hits the ground. This will maximize the efficiency of transferring his club speed to the golf ball, so the ball comes off the face of the club with maximum ball speed. When you have your hands kind of on top of the golf ball at impact instead of in front of the ball, you're going to come into the ball a little bit more shallow, and you're going to have too many times you hit behind the ball, or your upswing starts too soon and you hit the ball thin, or you top the ball. So in order for you to hit down on the ball more, like Grant, you're going to need to have your hands more in front of the golf ball, over where your left foot is. Now let's look at some of the positions prior to impact. Let's begin at the one position, and let's start with the stance. Grant has a much wider stance than you do, and you would do well to widen your stance slightly, give yourself a little bit better foundation to build your swing on. Grant also flares his toes out a little bit, and this will give him better mobility and shifting his weight to the left side on the downswing. I really like the extension you have in your arms and how you have your elbows close to each other, and the creases of your elbows are pointing upward. That's excellent. Now at the beginning of the swing, you do set your hands in front of the golf ball like Grant does. And so you are preparing to return that shaft in this position so that you can hit down into it. And you are setting your low point in front of the golf ball at the beginning of the golf swing. But your hands are here at address, but they are back here at impact. And so you do not arrive at impact in the same position that you started your hands. I'm now going to go from the one position to the three position and look at the backswing movement. First I'll use Grant. Grant is going from 1 to 3. The 3 position is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. And you can see how Grant has a nice extended arm here. He's hinged his wrist, so he has a nice right angle there. Let's take you back to the 3 position to when your left arm is parallel to the ground. It's about right there. You've done a pretty good job of keeping this extended. You haven't hinged your wrist quite as much as Grant. But you are starting that process. Not too bad. Would like to see maybe a little bit more wrist hinge at this point. I've drawn a box around the base of the ankles to the top of the head. And as you can see, Grant stabilizes his axis of his golf swing around his left side. He's not swaying to the right. He's keeping his weight on his left side. His left knee is still on top of his foot. And on that red line, his left hip and left shoulder stay on that left line. So the left side of his body is the axis of his golf swing, and he keeps it stable. You have a tendency to move even further to the right and away from the left side or more on the right side. And so if you did widen your stance a little bit, it would make the proper backswing more possible. It would facilitate a better balanced foundation for this backswing. I'm now going to take you from the 3 position to the top of the backswing. I'll do Grant first. Grant, when he gets to the top, and this is about the end of his backswing, he still has that straight left arm, hinged his wrist, there's his shaft. He's still strongly on his left side. He's ready to start his downswing. As you go further back, you've stayed on your right side, but you've also bent this left arm. Your club goes further back, but it's more because of bending the elbow. One of the things every good golfer must learn to do is to keep that left arm somewhat straight. And that will give you a lot more power with less effort. I'm now going to go from the top of the backswing through the downswing and through impact. As Grant moves, he's driving even further left. His belt buckle moves in front of that red line through impact. And he'll get into this nice extension past impact right there. Take you to the downswing. You do what we call cast a little bit, and you throw that club around quite a bit and lose a lot of power because of the position you're in at the top of the swing. As Grant comes down, he will hold that angle. He still has that angle in his hands. When his hands are waist high, he still has a strong angle in his left arm and shaft. And he's holding that power angle. And he's going to wait till he gets to the golf ball before he unleashes it. When your hands are waist high, you've already thrown the club, and you've already dispensed that club head speed, dispensed that power, and didn't hold it for the impact. And so learning how to use your hands properly through the impact zone will gain you a lot of distance. As Grant goes through impact, he keeps his arms extended, his elbows are still close together. His left hand is underneath his right hand, his wrists are crossed there. He's come off his back foot, his right knee is right on top of his left foot, his right hip is right on top of his left foot. His hips, his chest is facing the target. As you come through, you still are facing the camera and not really turning your hip or your knee. They're still way behind your left foot. Your left arm has bent quite a bit. It's bent here and here. Your white glove is above your left hand, so you have not crossed and kept those arms extended on top of your chest. As you go forward, I recommend that you begin by building a better starting position, your setup, your posture, your grip, a little wider stance, flaring the toes a little bit. We need to have a very solid foundation and athletic position at the start of the swing. And then the next thing I would work on is how to create a good solid backswing where you can maintain an extended left arm.